Hello everyone, welcome to the course on Hyperledger Fabric, Blockchain for Business. So in this course, we'll be discussing some basic concepts around the blockchain, the concept of blockchain. Then we'll see the blockchain for business. We'll define blockchain for business and for enterprise. And what is the difference? We'll also discuss what is the difference between Bitcoin and blockchain, and the difference between Bitcoin version of blockchain and the blockchain for business, that is Hyperledger Fabric. Then also we'll discuss in detail about the blockchain components. So it will be the components of Hyperledger Fabric. Then we'll see the Hyperledger Fabric transaction flow, and we'll get hands-on with Hyperledger Fabric. We'll try to build the first network with Hyperledger Fabric version 1.2 business. So a few years back, when this project Hyperledger was started, the blockchain technologies that were present at that time, they were not well suited for the enterprises. They didn't have the kind of security and privacy or the scalability or throughput that was required for enterprise applications. So this project was started to build a blockchain platform that was required for enterprise applications across industries. So the mission of this project was to build an enterprise-grade blockchain platform. So here we see the Hyperledger's modular umbrella approach. Hyperledger project is governed by the Linux Foundation. So under Hyperledger, we can see the various frameworks like Sawtooth, Iroha, Fabric, Indy, and Burrow. And each of these are designed for specific use cases. For example, Hyperledger Sawtooth is designed for tracking the provenance of perishable goods such as fish. They have very good integration with IoT sensors that track temperature and also the tracking of ownership throughout its journey in the supply chain. Then Hyperledger Indy is designed for identity management. Whenever we take some services from say the mobile companies, we take a connection from mobile companies, or we check into a hotel, we have to provide some sort of our identity or iCards. So sometimes these identities can be misused by those service providers. For example, our Aadhaar card or our driving license. So sometimes these identities can be compromised, like they can use those service providers, they can misuse it, or they can share it with some other identities without our consent. So there is a notion of self-sovereign identity where the owner, the user has the full, we have the full control of our identity. So there are some sort of use cases being thought about for the identity management, for securing our identities using blockchain technologies. So Hyperledger Indy is designed for identity management. Similarly, Hyperledger Iroha is designed by keeping financial use cases in mind. Again, the Hyperledger Burrow is something like putting the Ethereum virtual machine inside Fabric as a smart contract engine. And Hyperledger Fabric is a very generic and it's very flexible. It's unique among all the above, all the other frameworks that I have mentioned. Okay, and it's designed for enterprises across industries, be it finance, healthcare, supply chain, logistics, and many more. Some unique features of Fabric are there is a selective endorsement policies. That is, say, 3 out of 10 members. Suppose there is a network of 10 members, and it says at least 3 or 4, as we define, 3 or 4 members should be endorsing the transaction. They will be validating the transaction. Like, they will say yes to the transaction before it gets committed to the ledger. So this endorsement policy The consensus mechanism is different than the Bitcoin type of consensus mechanism, that is the proof of work that requires a lot of computational power or maths problem. So this is the unique feature of Hyperledger Fabric, and we'll be discussing the Hyperledger Fabric in detail in this course. And the module we'll be using is the Hyperledger Composer that works on top of Hyperledger Fabric. So the Hyperledger project is one of the fastest growing open source projects out there today. It has more than 220 members and with a tremendous growth. So these are the logos of various companies that are contributing to this project. These are all large technological firms, large financial companies, small startups. Even the academic institutions have joined this consortium. There are healthcare companies as well. The first production grade version, the version 1.0 of Hyperledger Fabric project was released in July last year. Currently the running version is version 1.2. So in our hands-on session we'll see the version 1.2.